everybody, I'm Corin from Greenwood Bonsai Studio. In the UK now we're in the third COVID lockdown. I know a lot of you enthusiasts haven't been able to get out and see bonsai exhibitions. A lot of shows have been cancelled. So I thought what we'd do, we'll bring a few of my trees in, we'll have a little Greenwood mini bonsai exhibition and show you a few of my trees in winter, so you can see the structure and the beauty of some of the deciduous trees that we have here at Greenwood. We'll start at this end here. This is a Chinese juniper, Itagawa juniper, and imported from Japan. It's in my own collection of trees. It was imported about 4 years ago, quite overgrown, and it was in a fairly heavy looking, substantial bonsai pot. It didn't really look as elegant and didn't suit the tree as well as it could have done. Initially, I pruned back a lot of the long growth on it, trimmed it and wired the tree to shape, and then it was transferred out of that standard bonsai pot into this handmade bonsai pot by John Pitt. This next one here is a Japanese larch. I bought it from a retired bonsai collector. He'd grown it for about 35 years. It's in a root over rock style. It's in a handmade bonsai pot by Warsaw Studio Ceramics. It's got very nice movement to the trunk. It's not an overly large tree, but it's got nice sinuous movement to the trunk, good branch placement, very, very twiggy. Particularly looks nice in autumn with golden needles. This next one is a Japanese flowering apricot, Prunus mume, a white flowered variety, very, very old tree, dark bark, very craggy bark, and you always get a good contrast at this time of the year between the beauty of the flowers and the cragginess of the bark. The movement in this trunk I particularly like with this tree, and this to enhance that, it's potted into another John Pitt bonsai pot with beautiful movement in the pot and delicate feet. This is a Siberian elm. It's been in my collection for about 15 years. It was originally grown in the ground to get a really heavy trunk. The tree is about 35 years old. I've been styling it and working on it for, like I say, about 15 years time, and during that time I've grown all the branches on this tree and developed it to what it is here. In a Japanese tokoname pot, the grey colour, the grey clay of the pot is quite unusual. It's probably a 30 to 40 year old pot, and it harmonises very well, brings out the colour in the bark. One of my favourite type of trees is Japanese maple. This is a Japanese maple, Acer palmatum, imported from Japan, a relatively new addition to my collection. Very, very nice base, Nibari, in a Japanese Riho pot. Hoping to have a good year from it this year. Beautiful when it comes into leaf in early spring. This is a larger Japanese maple, Acer palmatum arakawa. This is a Japanese rough bark maple, and this is a tree that's best displayed in winter because without any leaf on it you can see the structure of the tree, the beauty of the bark. That's the really good character for this tree. It's got a lovely base, good roots, beautiful bark, and nice taper to the top of the tree. I was very pleased. I ordered this, commissioned this handmade bonsai pot. It's a Gordon Duffett pot, and it's smoky blue glaze with a crackle in the glaze, and the crackle in the glaze really accentuates the same sort of crackle and texture of the bark. To me, the combination of this tree and this pot is really, really nice. Just to show you the difference a pot can make to a tree, when I purchased it, it was in a very, very dark blue Japanese pot, which was quite uniform in colour, and I prefer something with a little bit more detail and tone to it. So you can see why I chose this handmade pot. This is an Ezo spruce, dwarf Japanese spruce. They grow very, very slowly. You always get a good contrast at this time of year. They stay very bright green even in winter, and you've got a dark bark. You get a beautiful contrast between the foliage and the bark. Ezo spruce is potted into a Sperling ceramics pot. A beautiful tone to the pot, You know, though technically this is a glazed pot, and a lot of people say you wouldn't put an evergreen into a glazed pot, the earthy tones of this glazed colour and this light band around it really lift the pot and suit the tree so much better. Hope you enjoyed that little exhibition of a few of our bonsai. Hopefully we're going to do a series of these videos and show you different trees throughout the year, throughout the seasons.